aboard America, here comes the freedom train. All aboard America, here comes the freedom train.
The freedom trains are rolling down 200 years of track, 200 years of glory, never to turn back.
The train is called America, your ticket is the dream that lit the torch of freedom for all the world to see.
Welcome, W-E-L-C-O-M-E. Welcome to the very first Medfield College Film Society Sunday Night Special. We have retooled our summer content to be a little bit more diplomatic. We just got a little testy last summer. We as a society have selected 2 movies for your entertainment. The criteria is simple. It has to be a movie from the vast made-for-TV Disney catalog. Each society member pitched their choices to the society. After weeks of arduous debate, with all sides presenting their cases for the movie, we settled on our top 2 selections. The cream of the crop from our collective mind, if you will. But before we reveal this special movie, let's hear from our society members. The president, founder, not Jim Croc, but he is a Jim Croc. Or is it Jim? Ray Kroc. Jim Croc? Where'd that come from? Anyway, it's Robert McSwain. Robert, how you doing?
I'm thumbing through my hardback copy of Webster's Dictionary, looking at words right now.
Is it the collegiate one?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I won it as a prize. I'm excited about it.
I don't even know the first word in that thing, man. I gotta say,
triple A auto towing.
Well, that brings us to our next society member down in Central Florida, Mr. Michael Crawford. How is it going, Michael?
Well, I am in Central Florida, as you say, so fair to middling, I think it's fair to say.
How do you think it's going?
Yeah, how do you think it's going, man? It's great. It's great. It's a sunshine day.
Nothing going on weird in Florida right now, is it?
No, never.
Business as usual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just normal.
Slow and steady.
Well, over there by the corn crib, up in his secret sheltered location in western North Carolina, free from any woke interference, Mr. Andy Brown. Andy, how's it going?
Doing fine. I guess I'm the Trapper John of my... I don't know. It's something like that. Yeah, I'm good.
Just don't let your water hang too long, man. It's a bad look.
Man, my neighbor, they let their water hang too long, and they got what was that disease they called it?
Hydrophobia.
The hydrophobia.
Hydrophobia.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
speaking of hydrophobia, some parasites.
My son missed a golden opportunity to dust off the old Elizabeth. We had a fox in our yard that was consumed by hydrophobia. And Tress goes, why hasn't James been doing the Elizabeth all day? I feel like this is like opening the door for it.
It's a luckily, the fox was right over the plate. You're not going to swing at that?
Yeah, come on.
It's too easy. Low-hanging fruit.
Well, you live, you learn. None of that happened if we weren't mining the classics. Wouldn't even been an opportunity.
I know.
Well, speaking of the classics, we got a real classic from the vault here tonight. Something that existed in our childhood context over at Edgemont Avenue in Shelby. Michael, this was your pitch, I believe.
I wouldn't really call it a pitch. Much less like, hey, what if we did the thing? Oh, and then we did it.
Well, what is it?
It's an underhanded pitch, I guess you could say. Anyway, it's the 1986 Disney telefilm classic, The Girl Who Spelled Freedom, directed by Simon Wincer, written by Christopher Knopf and David A. Simons, and starring Wayne Trapper John Rogers, Mary Kay Place, and Kieu Chinh.
This is a movie
This is a movie.
This is a movie.
It's something.
You think this was the first? I know, like Flight of the Navigator may have been the first thing that Eisner greenlit. I'm wondering, was this on his desk?
I was reading the paper, and I read the most amazing story. And I said, I want
Hello.
that movie.
I want that movie.
Hello.
Hello, I want that movie.
Hello, I cried.
I go to the airport and say hello to people getting off planes.
Hello, I cried. The Michael Eisner story.
This
Anya.
is a different change of pace for us, maybe.
I'd say so. And it's crazy because I started like remembering the movie and like weird, well, beyond some other weird moments, but there was like, we'll get to it later. But yeah, I was having flashbacks.
Yeah, do we even want to say how it...
I think we have to. Yeah.
we have to say why this was even brought up in the first place and the magical phenomenon that all four of us actually remembered it.
Yes.
Which, of all the things in the world for all four of us to remember,
that's the green light right there. That's what
I
guess
that's an automatic green light.
Serendipity.
Yeah. There's some really iconic scenes.
Yeah, there's a scene. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll say, I was like, well, how about that one movie that was on Disney Sunday Movie where the girl does blank and everyone is shocked.
And all four of us went, oh yeah.
I remembered nothing else from this movie, but I remembered that.
Same.
And everybody else remembered it too. Amazingly.
It's memorable.
I had one other scene, and I'll get to that later. But I'm just happy that I got the first act in this because I get to carry the torch on that scene.
Yeah,
it's a big honor.
It's heavy duty there.
Well, guys, it's summertime. Living is easy for some. Here in America, at least. Everybody who's been indoctrinated in our educational system, at least, it's easy time. I think it's time we put on the flick. What do you guys say?
Well, first of all, so Edgemont Avenue, saw it.
Yeah.
And Andy, did you have any other memories beyond this scene?
No. And in fact,
really either.
I mean,
I had no memories beyond that.
Yeah, I reached out to my sister, my older sister, who had been the reason that I was watching it, and she didn't even remember it. Big as soon as I pointed out that scene, she was like, "Oh yeah!" So,
well, that's how I was. I mean, that's exactly because Michael brings it up. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I remember that. That's the movie." And it had gotten stored way back in the back of my mind.
So, did they show this on the Disney Channel? Is what I'm wondering.
It was a Disney Sunday Movie.
I know that, but how do we all remember it? Did we all watch that time it showed?
I think it must have been I think it was because we watched it. I mean, we'd always watch Sunday Night Movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
Our family.
Yeah,
so
it would have been ABC.
But I was disappointed that the version that we watched, which is on YouTube, did not have a Michael Eisner hello introduction.
Yeah,
disappointed.
I was looking forward to seeing how he would introduce this film.
We need to dig around for that. Maybe we need to find that.
Or was it before he started doing it? I wonder.
Maybe it was too important for him to do that.
Yes.
It was a prestige.
They need a cold open, It's like.
But this was, I did see where this was released on home video. So there's a possibility that it was around in that.
Yeah. You guys want to rent this title?
Can I ask a question? This is a very different departure from the other movies that I typically associate with Disney. Why such a change in the tone? Why would they have gone this direction with a film?
Well, I think I had wondered if this was not something that they purchased instead of made, because looking at the production credits at the end, it had other production companies, and so I wonder if it wasn't something that they bought as a sort of little, this is a story we should be telling. Yeah.
Right, just content kind of thing.
Yeah. Because they were filming a lot of content. I mean, they had stopped for several years before Eisner came, having the Sunday night show. Then when he came, he's like, well, we need to get back into that business. And so they really just started churning stuff out left and right, like family content. So I'm sure they were on the lookout for like family audience kind of things. This has a real 80s like TV movie of the week vibe to it.
It's
Like through the roof.
Yes.
As the Crawfords are prone to say, it's drenched in it.
Yes. One other production note. Mark Snow on the score.
Yes.
Him of the X-Files theme.
Yes.
Fame.
Oh,
I forgot to I totally meant to bring that up. And yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He has some great moments in this movie. Some real great moments. So.
It does.
All right. We really do need to get into this one. So I'm going to hand it off to Robert. Let's go into the world of The Girl Who Spelled Freedom.
Well, our movie, the YouTube version we found, opens with a new opening stinger. And did you all watch the same version I linked?
Buena
Mine-
Vista. Wait, no.
Mine said Disney Premier Cinema.
It's like, you know, it's fancy.
Does that actually mean it's not fancy, though? That's what I wondered.
That's
Like fancy ketchup.
Yeah, fancy. Gotcha.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, fancy ketchup.
We get a nice generic voiceover, and then we get an even more generic voiceover reading the following. It's kind of deadpan, but not completely deadpan. But it's like, the following is a dramatization based on newspaper articles and personal interviews of events in the life of Cambodian refugee Lin Yan.
Should have had the guy from the A-Team do it.
That's right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Deep
Or
in the,
Dragnet,
in
please.
the LA underground. As the tracking smooths out on my
Golly,
YouTube
for
video.
real.
Yeah, just that alone brought back some memories.
Well, that was happening, and my wife was like, "What are you all watching this week?" I was like, "Go away, leave me alone."
Why do you hate freedom?
So we're met with a God, I'm laughing here. This is serious stuff here. We're met with the
Okay,
refugee.
wait. I think that's a very good point right there. I had trouble. I was like, I can't rag on this because this is awful.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some moments coming up. Don't worry. Okay.
Oh, my first thought when Robert says we're actually doing it is like, well, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's. I kept trying to walk it back with Robert on text. So like, maybe we should have a backup for this. I don't know. What are we doing?
I didn't get in. I mean, I got into it, I guess, Monday. It's the first time I watched any of it. And then I was like, what have I done? Like, maybe we've made a huge mistake. This is like Old Yeller's one thing, but this is like real.
This is beyond Old Yeller.
This is way beyond. Yep.
All right, so serious. We are met with refugee.
Oh, dear.
We're met with refugees, and in the title of the movie, "The Girl Who Spelled Freedom," with some nice synth music underneath it. Several more sad pictures of refugees and children, followed by a jarring picture, Ken Burns style, of Jimmy Carter shaking hands. Now, my knowledge of Jimmy Carter is mostly concerned with his failures, so I'm assuming that this picture is one of a diplomatic victory he made. Michael, can you shed any light on that, or is that just a
I
Jimmy?
can't. I should look up. I've seen him at something with Something with Cambodia. But I don't know. Something Cambodia.
I think so. What Vietnam invaded Cambodia, I believe, is
That's
what
correct,
happened.
yes. Yeah.
And there were diplomatic lines to bring Cambodians to the United States. I think it's the short version.
Okay, well, then who can explain the next picture? We have the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I'm more confused now.
I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, "This is strange." But then I was like, "Oh, maybe it's comparing the contrast of lifestyles between the."
I think
American
you're right,
lifestyle
Andy. I think you're right.
and the Cambodian. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they go for
here's their
deeply,
reality, here's their life, and then here's what an American's life's like.
They like baseball.
Americans like baseball. And the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everyone loves them. They're America's team.
Clemente.
Love the Roids.
Why the Yankees would have been? I mean, I don't like the Yankees, but that would have made more
I
sense
don't
than
think it
Pittsburgh
was.
Pirates.
I think it was just baseball. It was like not war.
Back to children, refugees, and then we go back to children playing. So we're seeing the contrast now. So I'm putting the puzzle together at this point. But the Pittsburgh Pirates was still jarring to me, regardless. Then we get a no gas sign with a sad face. And we see long lines of the gas pumps. The Pope makes an appearance in this slideshow, and we get a few more refugee pics. And we wrap up with one of the more confusing opening credit sequences of this podcast, in my opinion. And I think I've made that very clear.
I thought, this is the title sequence we've been waiting for. It's a real change of pace. I'm ready.
It was different.
It would have been wrong for the Herbie theme to start playing at that moment.
I just needed, that, speaking of the X-Files, I needed that face to, zoom out,
Yeah, the wobbly face.
We fade up to Cambodia, April 5th, 1979. A family is wading through a river to the sound of helicopters flying over and someone banging on a garbage can nearby.
Where do you think they shot the Cambodia stuff?
Well,
Someplace very foggy.
It was shot. I think it was shot in Vancouver.
At the Disney MGM Studios. Oh.
Typical Canada for
right.
Cambodia.
I really think it was. I think they just went down to a river bank in there in British Columbia.
My response was, I guess some effects are too expensive to show because there was a lot of walking around in the fog while it's like the Disney Foley showcase. It's like the Foley
there. was so bad because, like I said, it was supposed to be, I guess, a gunfire, but it sounded like someone banging a garbage can lid over and over again.
Hueys overhead and nothing in the sky, but you could hear them.
So in all seriousness, I'm pulled in at this point, minus the bad Foley. So I'm like, wow, this is gonna be different. We're definitely into some different water here. So we cut to a girl wading into a koi pond of some sort in a backyard water feature in suburban America. And how do I know it's suburban America? Because she's getting a plastic ball and the family is playing backyard baseball in their Sunday best. Also, the movie tells us this is Chattanooga, Tennessee, the same day, April 5th, 1979. So
freaky.
Yeah. Camera pulls in and there's a pamphlet on a kitchen table. American families sought to take in Cambodians as a woman is making dessert and looking at the pamphlet.
Yeah,
I didn't know what she was doing at first.
Yeah, that's
it's
cool.
Like glop.
Cool Whip dollop versus getting shot at by a helicopter.
She should be like, my life's the worst. And then go right back to Cambodia.
Plop.
Back in Cambodia, the family is covered in mud on the river's edge. One of the children is frantically looking for something that fell out of their pocket as trucks rush by on the nearby highway. Again, I'm being sarcastic. That's what it sounded like. I'm assuming that the sound was supposed to be more like jets or military maneuvers going on nearby. But it's like
150 wacky sound effects on LP. Buy it now.
People will believe it. You put it in a movie, they'll believe it.
The child finds a ring in the mud and quickly puts it back in their pocket. And the family continues their journey. Back in Chattanooga, the woman from the kitchen is sulking on her porch, and she wants to make a difference, but she's just got some doubts about it.
She wants to make a difference, but doesn't really want to.
2 months pass, and the family is in a refugee camp. The family in Cambodia is in a refugee camp in Thailand now. They attempt an escape and are stopped by a guard. The child offers the ring that she had in her pocket. The guard takes it and lets them flee back to their tent. The little tent.
I don't think they're trying to escape. They're scrounging. She's doing the
guess,
man trash scrounging.
Yeah, I guess I wrote that as I've been quickly, and then I put it together later. But so you're correct. I think they had snuck into the military base, which is next door to the refugee camp. Is what I got. The next morning, a child sees a truck full of food and supplies arriving at the camp, and then we find out the truck was here for the military and not the refugees. So back in the U.S. of A., the father is explaining that a man is pulling up to the house with news about what I can only assume is he's going to be talking about the refugees. So it felt like a needless scene there that he had to explain. I think he just could have come in and told them.
Yeah.
But
it's like, hey, here's
this guy's going to come in. He's going to talk to us.
Is he wearing a hat in that scene? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
He's wearing like a ball cap, right?
Yeah, but he's wearing off to the side and like he's a 90s hip hop gangster kind of.
Well, that's how Trapper John rolls.
Yeah,
Trapper John.
Yeah, Wayne Rogers.
We get a weird cut here, and this he says there's a guy coming in and that he's pulling in, and then it cuts immediately to the guy on the couch explaining that they're getting a family with 6 kids. George, the father, still has his doubts, but he's told if they don't take them, then they'll likely be sent back. So
and killed.
Yes.
It's a movie. Can I point out that at this point, everyone is super Southern. Dude, everyone is Southern.
Well, I was going to get to that in a little while, but since you brought it up, I mean, the accents are all over the map. It was. I know, Andy, you're a stickler for the Southern accent.
Yeah, I don't like it when it's really thick like that. And
what a Savannah.
Now I know Wayne Rogers.
That's exactly what I had in my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne Rogers is from Georgia, I believe, isn't he?
It's funny because that's what I had. He was like Southern Georgian, like that's what he was doing.
Yeah,
like Southern Georgian accent.
He was like really laying on a little thicker than he normally would have. I thought.
I was just too distracted by the fact that he really reminded me of Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, totally.
He did. Oh wow, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Definitely.
No, Birmingham, Alabama. That's where he's from. So it was just a little bit too thick for.
It's pretty thick.
Eastern Tennessee.
Listen, sugar, we gotta help these people.
Now
what you got there is more. That's more Florida Panhandle.
Yeah.
Savannah's more like molasses pouring out of your mouth. And then the Tennessee accent's going to be more, you're going to have to draw out the A's and pronounce the P's more. So that's.
We can just say from the top of George.
Please do.
A long-standing, this is a tie that binds, a long-standing Disney tradition of the wife having concerns and the husband not giving a rip.
Nope.
Yes.
Whatever. You got concerns.
We got this.
Whatever.
Oh, it's good. What was with the weird back and forth of like, what's the daughter's name? I can't remember. Laura, turn off that football game in the next room with like the loud football game playing. Come back in here, Laura. Now you're part of this. You're
we don't need to be watching the Volunteers win right now. Come on in here.
Like the guy who's talking about the family is trying to talk to George, but George is just Laura, get back in here. Come on,
Daddy, know what? They're singing Rocket Top.
Yeah.
Back in the house, the wife is upset now that they're taking on a family, and she doesn't seem to have the patience for this. She says, hey, we had an only daughter by design because I hate kids. And
I thought this was an amazing turn to take in this. Especially as we
Yeah.
find out much later that like the family was aware of and I guess somehow involved in like all this. But they make the wife look terrible. She's like, I only have patience for one child. That's why we only had one.
They do. And like Mr. Turner, the guy that came to talk to him about it, he flubs. I don't think he flubs the line. I think he kind of, because her name's Prissy.
Yeah.
And he goes to call her Miss Thrash, which is an interesting last name. But he calls her Miss Priss. Then he quickly corrects himself.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I had to rewind it a couple of times to figure out what he was saying. And that was, there's a couple of times in this movie where somebody like kind of flubs something and corrects himself.
Yeah.
And
But in that case, I couldn't
be
tell.
a joke.
Right. I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a joke or if it was actually, they were, like you said, painting her in a bad light. So I don't know.
Well, Prissy's got some concerns, guys. George is always on the road, and what if they don't know anything about bathrooms, guys? What happens if they don't know how to use a bathroom?
Foreshadowing.
This was the first points for George in my estimation.
Well, Prissy, the other garden's gonna be happy to get the help.
My man.
They're gonna poop in my flowers.
They're gonna
And
poop in the
flowers are gonna
flower
be happy.
bed. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, sir.
You just need a seersucker suit on.
I'm just gonna
I
go
mean-
all over the map with my southern accent for him.
That's what when I heard that, even knowing what I know, I was like, why would that be the first thing you would think of? I would be like, language, like talking to them would be hard. But what if they don't know how to use a bathroom? Well, stay tuned, dear listener, because
Because we don't even know if they know how to live indoors. Like, what kind of thing is that to say? They're cavemen. Cavemen knew how to live indoors, but these people don't.
Well, it harkens back to Crocodile Dundee, where he comes to New York City. He's like he's never seen an escalator or anything. And come on, Sydney's not a shove over town here, but I digress.
Crikey.
Back in Thailand, the family is loading up in a transporter and taken to the airport in Bangkok. A family loads onto a 747. Looks like the Empress of Italy, I believe, was the name of this 747.
It's fancy.
And,
I have a question about
how old
this.
is their 747 fleet, Robert?
That 747 fleet, I looked it up. That was a 747-2. So that one probably came out in the late mid 70s. So it was
you
probably
think,
pretty new. Grand
Pre-regulation.
scheme of things. Yeah.
Do you think the Italian flight crew were
Deregulation.
talking amongst themselves, be like, hey, they don't even know how to use the
Cambodians on
bathroom?
here.
They probably never eaten a pizza before.
Why are you making fun of Luigi?
But okay, so you've got this plane full of Cambodian refugees, all speak Cambodian.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. I'm sorry. I don't really know what it is. It may be Cambodian, it may be something else. Regardless, they don't speak English, and they have just their meager belongings they brought along with them. They're on this, I don't know, is it Alitalia flight? I don't know who's flying them. But the stewardess that comes back is like, well, y'all just sit down and enjoy yourself, have a good flight. Like, why do you have this like
It's
Southern English
Italy.
speaking white lady attending on the plane? It's like nobody knows what she's saying.
She's from southern Italy.
You like pizza pie?
Hey, a smile is
Sicilian.
universal. That's all I got to
It's
say.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
But we do get a cool shot here as the front wheel pulls away from the camera and
Yes.
and down the runway. So
Yeah.
they spent some time setting that up. The family clutches their hands, and the children are nervous, and one climbs into the floor as the plane lifts off. And I feel like that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, I think I'd freak out too if I was a refugee being thrown on an airplane for the first time.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm surprised they wouldn't have freaked out more, like have been trying to get out. I mean, but
I mean,
know
they've never been indoors.
Yeah.
I mean, you've never been in a plane, surely. What if they don't even know how to use a mini bottle?
Yeah.
So back in rainy Chattanooga Airport, the American family pulls up in a sweet conversion van.
Yeah.
The wife is still nervous, and old George is dragging her into the airport. The family
She is more than nervous. She is full pouting. This is pout.
Yeah,
Well,
the
my
weather
man's
is
not reading the
reflecting.
room. She's probably having to go big. He's just like, well, I'm ready for him. You
All right,
ready?
here we go.
Well,
Go to the
whatever
airport.
you think. I mean, I'd probably
Sugar?
be pouting too if
Sugar,
for
come
years somebody hadn't listened to me.
Now, woman, you get on in there.
Now, come on now. Turn that frown upside down now.
Here's my little sugar magnolia. Get on
Lord,
inside that airport.
Lord, you're part of this too now, Lord. Get on over
I
here now.
promise you,
Go
after
on in
this
there,
is
Laura.
done, we're going to go up on Rocky Top and laugh all about it.
Have a moon pie, baby.
Feel like we're about to start up the choo-choo, take everybody home.
Oh my God. What is it about these movies like this that bring out the silliness? And it's like the darker and more serious movie is like we just we can't handle it.
No,
Well, I
we
mean,
can't.
this
We're not cut
guy
out
is
for this.
really, he pitches hard. George, it probably did in real life, judging from what we see later, which I won't spoil.
Okay.
All right. So the family gets one of those white cards people used to hold up at the airport.
Yes.
As they nervously await. As even the press are there. They have there's a press corps there waiting for them to get off the
Robble,
airplane.
robble, robble. Robble, robble, robble.
The family
Is it a bunch of hamburglers?
Yeah.
Miss Thrash, how do you feel about taking in a Cambodian family? Well, I just don't want to. I think we should. Quiet,
Yeah.
Joe.
What my wife meant to say is the complete opposite. Thank you.
Go Vols.
Go on.
Come on. The families are awkwardly united. I think this is the first time we hear Mom's name, which is we've already established as Prissy, and it's in this moment that I realize where I recognized her from, and she is the mom from Captain Ron. So
Oh, wow. Captain.
another great classic cinema.
Is that a touchstone? It feels like it should be a touchstone.
I think it is. I believe it is a touchstone joint because, it's classic Kurt Russell. I started to say Kurt Douglas, but that would have been a different movie with Kurt Douglas as Captain.
I'm
Ron.
Captain Ron.
Yeah, and when they get off the plane, it's the immediate, talking loud. As
Oh
if
my
that makes
gosh,
a difference.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like wave your hands around and talk louder and they will understand you.
George, Prissy. It's like, come on.
So yeah, here we go. So the family rides home in a van as everyone's coughing, and Prissy's nervous still or just sulking, and George is trying to make like small talk with a bunch of people who don't speak English, talking about how good the power they get from the good old TVA.
man.
And over here, that's the river now. That's damn up. Good old
That was
TVA power.
The WPA update for the Cambodians.
One of the few laughs that came out was him.
We get that nice clean power.
And I was
Old
also
FDR put a lot of people on the welfare, but he did build us this nice river over here.
also furious at the same time at this guy being like, why would anybody like maybe that was real because it's so stupid. Like, over here, look at it. It's like they don't speak your language. They're all scared. Stop.
Rural electrification was quite a boon to this area.
We
It
might have
led to
been
the widening
underwater.
of this thoroughfare.
We've
That's just
definitely
it.
been in the dark.
Now, before the TVA came along here, old Chattanooga was prone to flooding.
It's like one big salad bowl or soup bowl, I guess.
But yeah, he was scared too. And so I guess that's him just like talking just to fill the space.
Hey, that's
It's
deep,
better
man.
than her
That's deep.
being like, George, they're sick.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Like, shut up, Chrissy. They're
As they
sick.
get out-
They're diseased. I did have one question. I wonder if, because this not only one family, that there were a bunch of people coming off that plane straight
Yes.
to Chattanooga. So I'm like, is there like now a big Cambodian community in Chattanooga?
It must be. I don't know.
That's a good question. Get some good.
So as they get out, we have a dark moment in this movie happens as some neighbors are stalking outside the house, watching. And what are they guys? What are they doing? What's going on here? There's something bad going to go down here.
It's like a
sit-
stakeout.
They sit in the car, dark car, counting as the Cambodian family gets out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they all run inside, and George turns to the neighbors and thanks them for letting them use the conversion van. And he runs on inside, which...
Yeah, bye. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
It's a big whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you all for the conversion van. Now we see you all later.
When they pulled up to this house, I was like, wait, do they live in Doc Brown's house? But it's a different house. But man, I want that house.
I wonder what Trapper John was doing to be able to adopt like 7 people and live in this house. Because he must have been doing some business.
How big was the house to hold a family of 3 to,
Well, he makes a comment later on about how he has to go on the road to touch all the bases.
We know what that means.
Yeah.
It's a different time.
So in the house, everyone's getting settled, and the refugee child that we've been focusing on this whole time starts to wander off and startles herself as she learns how a light switch works. So,
No one
Until
will
she's
forget
the scamp of the group.
The light switch moment.
and we cut back to the van, and the neighbors are getting in, and Prissy's still in the van, and she's still not happy. So George is trying to teach the family how the bathroom works. He said, now, you got your hot water and your cold water here. And now this is y'all toilet, and it flushes like this. And we get a nice shot of the blue water swirling
I love
down
the
the
blue
old
water.
counterclockwise down the drain there. And no one seems to get it. Everyone is...
When they showed that, though, I was like, oh, is this the scene? Because I didn't remember when it happened. But I was like, are we getting ready for it here?
It's a little taste of things to come.
Yeah.
A little aperitif.
None of the refugees seem to get what he's talking about, and they're all just sort of staring, and everyone hunkers down, and the Thrashes leave them a large tray of food, which is gone on the next cut. And then we see the Cambodian girl trying to make sense of this toilet that George was explaining to her earlier. She ends up going outside to do her business. Okay, so let's talk about this elephant in the room for a second, guys. Let's say, for argument's sake, that they haven't seen a toilet in Cambodia or Thailand, so that's understandable. But they went to an airport in Bangkok, which looked modern. They got onto a 747 for probably upwards of 14 hours or more. Flew to San Francisco. They landed there in San Francisco. They likely spent a good bit of time on a layover. Point being, they've been around modern plumbing now for at least 48 to 72 hours. Somebody had to have shown them how a toilet worked at this point. Am I wrong?
Well, here's the only thing I would say counter to that. George's explanation of a toilet I found lacking. I mean, if people don't know what a toilet is, you can't just flush it and point at it. Like, that doesn't tell you anything about it.
So this seat here works in the up and the down position.
Yeah, it could just be a fountain or anything.
Right. You point
wash your hair in there.
Same effect.
Right. So, yeah, there needed to be some more tutorials. But, yeah, I think to your point, you may be valid. Yeah. It's it's Prissy's nightmare coming true because they don't know how to use the bathroom.
Guys, this is the director showing us. They should have titled this "America's Ignorance." That's what they should have.
Ooh,
oh, it's a different movie. So the girl gets back in bed after going outside and is startled by a King Kong poster.
Why did they leave this poster up?
Yes, so hard at this.
Said the same thing.
First, let's put some posters up to make them feel at home. Get the King Kong one out. They love that
King Kong poster.
That's sweet Jessica Lange.
Bless her heart.
The zoom in, but it's like the jump cut to King Kong face with like music sting.
Oh, the first of the jump cuts.
It's such a reveal, and it's the first of many. The final, which is the best, but
yes,
killed me.
Pretty fun.
The next day at the doctor's, the family sits in the waiting room. The doc comes out, tells George they have parasites, and that one of the children has TB, and informs him to take them home and keep an eye on them, and he gives them a heavy dose of antibiotics.
How old am I going to have to be?
Doc.
Yeah, right.
Keep a strong, watchful eye on them. Okay, thanks.
How old am I going to have a conversation with a doctor like this, where they like take off their glasses, like, I got to level with you. Here's how it's looking. I feel like none of my doctors
give it to me
do
straight,
this.
Doc.
Yeah.
Walk you over to the X-rays.
That's right. If you look here, here's what's going on.
It'd been better if he'd been smoking a cigarette while he did it.
Yeah, you should have been.
Yeah, normally we lie about this part, but seriously, this is not looking good.
But they don't speak English, so I'll tell you now.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you.
I will say at this point, it's weird to me that the family, and this I think is a relic of the time in which it was made, the family does no talking amongst themselves, and they're just like sullen and stare at the floor. It would have been nice to have them have, like, I don't know, character, or, you know, discuss. You'd think they would be talking amongst themselves, or having some sort of like identity, rather than just like, it's like the Darlings on Andy Griffith, who just sit there, just silently stare.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good call.
It's like, give them some character, like have them have some agency or something.
Back at the house, they're cramming meds down their throats, literally.
This scene, I did not like that scene.
No.
And no one is using the bathroom still. And all of a sudden, Prissy hears a toilet flush and runs downstairs to find a refugee child standing on the seat, staring at the toilet.
There it is, guys.
And there it is.
We made it. Can we end now? Or do we?
And that wraps up the whole movie. That's all.
That's what we all remembered right there.
I guess it just shows when you watch a movie when, I guess I would have been 9 when this came out, so roundabouts. And when you watch a movie when you're 9, the takeaway is going to be the scene where the little Cambodian girl stands on the
They really hung. I mean, they hung a lantern on it. You gotta give it that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they set it up. I mean, they.
Which one was a greater light bulb moment? You know, when she found the light, or when she learned how to use the toilet? Probably the latter.
Speaking for me, myself personally, I would have.
That night, as George and Prissy lie in bed listening to the sound of coughing, George says, "It's gonna get better." And Prissy says, "When?" And man, I'm glad I made it through it, but that wraps up Act 1 for me.
Why didn't they let the Cambodian mom give the medicine?
Right.
Yes,
I
exactly.
feel like they could have communicated something to her there and let her.
That was awful. It looked like they were just pouring a gallon of milk.
Oh,
on
that's
like
awful.
waterboarding
I don't
them
even
with
want to
milk.
watch this with actors. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
the worst.
But yeah, they didn't get the mom involved at all, and it's like, did they even explain? Does she have any idea what? And that goes back to what I was saying. Like, she has no character, so we don't know what she's thinking or how she's reacting to this. And it's like, it would be good to get inside her head.
Yeah, it would be. Well, we cut to George and Prissy doing some laundry. I guess George is folding. I don't know what exactly he's doing, but Prissy says they won't even come out of the room. They look like a bunch of limp rag dolls. George says, "Oh, time is just catching up with them. They came from the other side of the clock." I mean, he's always got a rejoinder to anything she says. I would, like, freak out if I was her. I'd be like,
Oh, shut up, George.
I need an hour of the day where you don't say anything back to what I say, George. Anyway, George says, we should learn to communicate with them so we know what they like to eat. Duh. And right then, Prissy finds a big hoard of food that they have hidden away. So Prissy's a little pissy. And she takes the food and pours it on the bed saying, "Eat it! Who do you think we are?" Which
Bunch of idiots.
Yeah, I don't understand.
What's wrong, you people?
Eat it!
Through this, somehow we get, thankfully, a grocery store trip with Prissy and the mom. Thanks for involving the mom finally and one of the kids. I mean, boys, this really takes me back to Harris Teeter at Hickory Creek.
Oh
it does.
man, it is.
Yes, it does.
Big time.
Felt like I was right back there. Oh man, and we get some real painful cultural exchange here.
Slightly racist shopping trip.
Absolutely racist.
And I'm getting annoyed with the direct questions. He's like, "Do you like turkey?" Like,
Yeah.
I guess you don't have turkey.
of course I do. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah.
what is she expecting? her
I
to say?
love turkey. I hear
You
it's
know.
your national bird.
I've been fluent in English the whole time.
That's right.
Gobble gobble.
The Cambodian mom is concerned that, the kid's not supposed to pick up stuff. She's like, oh, it's okay. You can pick up a pineapple. And she's going around showing we got meat. Look at all this meat we got. Wow. And
That's so
they're getting a
awful.
really awful exchange about fish. I know you know what fish is. Come on. And is showing Hook and the swimming motion and just, so painful. This may have been one of the most, except for the kids taking medicine, this is up there.
The hook in the mouth, the finger hook in the mouth, fish. And I guess they were trying to be funny because they have the other lady who's shopping is like,
oh, what are you doing?
My.
Thank goodness we get another one of our signature jump cuts to a great zoom of the kid in the stroller just piling pineapples into a grocery cart without any commentary.
So good.
Yeah, I thought about you, Michael, when that happened. That you would enjoy that.
Scamp figure.
Just the grocery cart full
Just
of pineapples.
needs a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his hand.
He's a Cambodian moochie.
Yeah, oh.
He is.
Meanwhile, we're back at the house, and George is demonstrating to everybody else a mini fridge. Another great demonstration.
This is ridiculous.
And I have no idea of why the refrigerator is of primary importance, but he's just like, I open the door, I take out the apple, and 3, we close the door. Open the door, 1, 2, take out the apple, 3, close the door. What is that going to tell them about anything?
Where we store our apple.
I'm like, at this point, whenever George has to, go do his business, he needs to say, come on, here's what this is, and just show him how to use the bathroom, you know?
Also, a nice cat poster in the background. Did you all notice?
Yeah, I did see that. That was
There's
nice.
some fun decor throughout this movie in this house. Definitely.
I mean, at this point, I'm starting to get. I'm saying, all right, when are we gonna get to the spelling bee now? Let's go ahead. Let's get there now. I mean,
Right.
Y'all don't know where to put your apples, and I'm gonna show you.
Maybe they put them in the laundry because they didn't know where to put them to keep them cold. Yeah. So, I mean, none of the kids want any part of this, nor would I. George is for once dumbfounded and pauses for the first time in his life, says, sure wish there was some way I could get through to y'all. Well, maybe there should be a resource for translating to these people.
Yeah. Mr. Turner.
Why isn't there somebody
Dump
in
them and leave
Chattanooga
them. Yeah.
over at the university there that can
So,
speak Cambodian?
I don't know. There has to be, right? George climbs the stairs in disgust. I guess he's done. He hears a little cherub voice say, 1, 2, 3. And he starts to translate into her native language, or she starts to translate into her native language. So now we know 1, 2, 3 in both languages. They should be all set, right? That about does it.
Yep.
But the kids somehow seem to warm up to this revelation and start to giggle with George. Start to go through a list of body parts. Everyone's having a great time. Prissy and the mom return with a bag of groceries, see all the hubbub with the kids playing with George. I guess George is acting like a baby at this point.
Yeah. What is happening here?
I don't know. It's more Will Ferrell fodder for me, though.
It's like Gaga.
Yeah. Well, we cut to them cooking. Mom is cooking, Cambodian mom. She looks happy. I mean, that's smart, right? Put her in to make what they like.
Yeah.
The kids, for their part, are checking out some TV. Some Brave Little Taylor, I may add.
Some synergy.
Yep. One kid goes into the bathroom and sees Laura curling her hair, so we cut to dinner and half the kids are in curlers. The mom of the kids has dumped a whole bottle of Tabasco into the food. Have you ever seen an empty bottle of Tabasco? Well, I have. But,
I have.
Yeah. But anyway.
I don't know. I thought that was a funny riff. Since
Womp womp.
Yeah.
A little levity. But it's funny because they never Mark has a lot of great moments, Snow, but never does the deep deep kind of like levity theme. It's always harsh drama themes that they hired him for, I guess.
But they could have had a scene there with like Prissy eating some of that food and like it getting so hot that she has to run in the bathroom, and drink water or something. I mean, that could have been good.
And she pukes all over the floor and they're like, oh, who doesn't know how to use the bathroom now?
Or she pukes into the toilet and they think that's what the toilet's for.
And it undoes all
That's
the
what
learning
that's
happened
for.
so
And they all
far.
start going 1, 2, 3.
Oh, well, aside from that, things are looking up. Kids are taking medicine. But wait. Ping is missing. Cue the serious music. Ping.
That's not the steady cam, too. They really do a long steady cam shot.
Yeah, they got a nice little one shot there.
I found this funny, really disruptive to the trajectory of the movie. It's like, oh, Ping, did he flush himself down the toilet because he didn't know how to use it? Oh, nope, they found him. He just wandered out into the woods and has a squirrel in his hand. Nothing to worry about, just a squirrel. It's in this kid's hand. Oh, boy. Back at the doctor, we're checking on the kid's breathing. Doc says we have a healthy boy here. 1 month later, we're on our way to school.
Rabies. From the squirrel.
Yeah, so we cut to 1 month later very quickly. We're on our way to school. We have an odd, intense cut of a crossing guard. Not quite sure why we have that. Guess that's alarming to people who aren't familiar with our culture. Dun, dun, dun. Stop.
Crossing guard with the glasses from the guard in Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah. But big day. Everybody go to school. Let's go to school. It's just school. Come on, y'all. Lynn is now fully Americanized with longer hair and a little collared dress. She's ready to go. Man, but we have a terrifying class of 80s youths awaiting Lynn. And where did they find these kids, man?
Oh, wow.
Marion Elementary.
I guess. Teacher's dress, by the way. Also collared. It's kind of like a painter's smock. It's interesting. Yeah. Teachers having them all spell the names of the kids. Really kind of intense thing to start with, of singling out these kids. Lynn doesn't even know how to hold a pencil. Maybe George and Prissy could have given her a leg up there, shown her how to hold a pencil.
Golly, for real.
What's going on?
Pencil. Put it in the refrigerator and close the door.
1,
2, 3.
So the smock teacher takes the kids to Miss Sparkman's class. I am assuming she's an ESL teacher. I don't know. What does she do?
I don't think that was a thing.
Oh, I told my wife to watch this movie because I thought it was a thing. But I said, you got to watch it. This is all about... Who is Miss Sparkman?
I think she was just the arts and fun teacher.
Oh, arts and fun.
I thought she was a kindergarten teacher. I thought she was just teaching basic.
They
Well,
say
she
at
did
some
say
point...
she'll get the basics going.
Maybe so. Because they say at some point, what she does, and when she's they're doing their walk and talk, one-way walk and talk. She does say they're going to be splitting their time with Miss Sparkman, and she does something. But I can't.
She reminded me of the kindergarten teacher in Billy Madison.
Yes.
Paste.
So, that was Susan Walden from the little action adventure show that you guys chastised me for getting into the other day on the Disney Channel called Danger Bay. And,
No way.
Yeah, she did 109 episodes, bulk of the series there. So,
Some local talent from
Miss
Sparkman.
Series, dude.
Well, the teacher is... Meanwhile, back at the house, the kids return home in a very boss station wagon of the time. Laura's friends pull up.
There we go.
There you go, Robert. Why don't you take this?
So, it's just this weird exchange, and they're talking about the Cambodians, and this one kid's hey, my dad says that, we need to be worried about ourselves and blah, blah, blah. And real reactionary kid here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it took us this long to get to racism,
Yeah.
to be honest.
'Cause he
Didn't
says,
we fight them in the war?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we
exactly.
go.
That was the
I-
line.
Yeah, unfortunately, a familiar
I was about to
chorus. Unfortunately, they give Lynn a skateboard, and of course, she eats it immediately. I mean, what were y'all thinking?
Here, use this.
One of Laura's a-hole friends says, "Hi, I thought you knew kung fu and all that stuff. My daddy says we shouldn't give stuff to outsiders." Ugh.
Yeah, Prissy shoots him a look, though.
Yeah, Prissy
Yeah.
give him the stink eye.
Well, I mean, now that you're in with Prissy,
Yeah.
you're in.
You're on
That's
Team
how it works.
Prissy.
Yeah.
Also, the daughter, Laura, doesn't she sound like Lisa Simpson?
She
Just
does
that
a little,
really
doesn't she?
high pitched. Yeah, that's weird.
George
He
gets
was
a
one of
phone.
the daughter was one of the Annies in the touring company for Annie back in the
There
early
you go.
80s.
There you go. George gets a phone call. Looks like he's going to have to travel for business, maybe for a week. Oh boy. Says he got to mind the store. He's going to lose everything. I'm not convinced. I think George just wants to blow off some steam.
Yeah, George needs a break.
These
Not in
kids don't
Vegas.
even know how a mini fridge works.
I get a mini fridge in my room.
Back in Miss Sparkman's class, the kids are taking off and doing great. Almost too good. Lynn is ball hogging the class, starts to pout when the teacher says she already had a chance. She goes and hides under a desk. Cue up that dramatic music again, Mark.
This was very Bluster Bluth to me.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
This was the scene that I remembered, like beat for beat, like this in the toilet scene. I don't know why. Like I just, as a kid, there was moments where I wanted to hide under the desk in my class.
The indignity of not getting to draw the eyes really got to.
Yeah.
So, but I was watching this going, I remember that vividly now. So weird.
Total
Miss-
Buster Flex.
Yes. Miss Sparkman can't handle it, calls Prissy, which, I mean, come on. She comes to find Lynn back under the desk. Miss Sparkman says there's no child in her. She's seeing it all as something else. I don't know what. Dang, we're getting deep.
Yeah.
Let's probe the depths, Miss Sparkman. Come on. At home, Laura is throwing a little white fit about how it's not fair. And Prissy, again, pissy. She pours some milk. She's just mad. Lynn's pouting too. Says she's smart, showing off her English. Lynn wants Prissy's ring, so Prissy goes and gets her another ring. I guess it's important to know the term ring finger right now. Why is that the lesson of the day?
Well, they
But
get in a
Lynn-
back and forth over. Lynn says, like, the thumb is a finger. And she, no, it's your thumb. It is your thumb. It is not a finger.
Come on now.
And she keeps saying, Lynn, I explained. The way she talked, it was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Now,
infuriating.
Lynn.
That's too close to the bone.
It does.
But yeah, Lynn grabs the ring, just runs off. Whoop, 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 whoop. Into the bathroom, we get the more you know tag with her looking at the ring as we fade to black. Prissy is out with the kids in the park teaching more English. Where's the mom? What's the mom doing? Chilling?
Again, wish the mother had her actual character would be nice.
Doesn't the mom want to know words like sky? Maybe she's cooking some jambalaya or something back at home. Something really spicy for everybody.
Or what does he say earlier in the film? He's like, maybe she's sitting on the sofa eating bonbons. He makes that reference earlier.
gosh, really?
Yeah.
Prissy is really in this is nice mode today. Keep teaching her kids how to skip, having a good old time.
Skip? Who wants this? Hey, who wants to skip? Who asked
Yeah.
that? Like, what's like?
She's trying real hard to be Maria von Trapp, and it's just not
That's
coming
it, yeah.
coming off.
Got to teach you how to jump first, like Americans. We know how to jump.
Skip.
All of a sudden, Lynn, close up, sees a statue of Christ crucified. Man, this really took me by surprise. I did not
Yeah,
see this
this was
coming. I was
That's what I
just-
saw. This was a turn. Yeah, right here.
It was
Jerk the wheel
intense. Yeah, it was like some graduate, the graduate level close-ups, extreme close-ups. Man, no work. Soldier killed. Cambodia, no work. All die. Oh, man. Just when we thought they were doing better, we got a long way to go, guys.
I just wrote in my notes, quote, Jesus Christ! Exclamation point.
That was intense. And where is the statue?
Yeah, I know. What
Also
park is
intense.
that? God.
Right.
I need to look it up. Yeah, because this was in Vancouver. I wouldn't, man.
Oh, man. Didn't know they had that in them.
We got the big Jesus over there, yeah?
Hey, buddy, you looking for a Jesus? We got one in the park.
Oh, man. That really... And that was it. It's like...
I don't really know it's like a dead guy, I guess, and that sets her off, but I don't know how it led to like soldiers coming to kill her because of the statue. I missed the connection.
This kid's
there.
seen some stuff, I guess. And
It's true.
Let's just be real.
It's true.
Well, back at the house, Prissy's having a kitchen table conversation with herself, and Lynn comes in and has chucked the ring down the sink and is distraught. Prissy gets the plumber's wrench out and is making it talk. Sure enough, they get the ring back. Guys, there are so many 2-minute vignettes in this film. I'm getting dizzy. It's like, there'll be just like a problem, solution, fade. Problem, solution, fade.
Scene.
It's like they sat down with a tape recorder with the people and are like, tell us some of the crazy stuff that happened when they got here. Well, one time she lost a ring down the sink and I had to get it out.
But I did, and it was nice.
And one time I thought I heard a toilet flush, and they was just standing on the toilet.
But one thing we get out of this is the cut up to another quick cut. Laura is sitting there watching. Man, why do they get Lynn's ring out of the sink and not mine? This isn't fair, guys.
Solid glaring.
Mom never does plumbing for me.
It'd have been...
I got to plunge my own toilet.
It'd have been really funny if every time they flushed the toilet, it did play Rocky Top. That would just throughout the entire... Even like in the most serious moment, you hear Rocky Top start playing.
Oh, man. I guess George is back. They're looking at a house for the Cambodians. I mean, this is like jarring. Prissy now is putting on the brakes again. I don't know if they're ready. I don't know either, I got to say. I'm not quite sure they're ready for this, George.
And he hasn't consulted them. It's very cavalier.
Yeah. That's just, yeah. George is wheeling and dealing. And sure enough, we see George loading into the house with some other people who are like, how much did you get this house for? I mean, what did he do? What was the deal? Is this clear to you all?
No.
I'm doing a little deal with you, but you got to meet me halfway.
I tell you, that trip George made must have been profitable, is all I got to say.
But the realtor though, was Don Davis, a.k.a. the general from Twin Peaks.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Yeah, also of Stargate fame. But,
Yeah, that's where I knew him from, Stargate.
Yeah.
Well, they're moving in. And the Cambodian mom has a real moment of zen. So I don't know if it's good or bad. I think it's good. Hard to tell. But Lynn is sad that Prissy isn't coming with him. I think we need some counseling here. Y'all need backup. We need more than just the family.
Yes.
Is there nobody else involved in this situation?
I can't believe there's no like agency or placement group. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I would have thought there would have been something more, but maybe that's my ignorance in the situation. But
I'm sure there was. This is dramatization.
Oh, thanks, Andy.
You're welcome.
Speaking of backup, we see a bunch of terrifying youths cruising by, standing in the back of the truck,
Oh.
glaring. It's
That-
nice to have a good glare again. Shades of mood spinners, but
I recognize these guys. And I'm like, hey.
Yeah, I know those guys down my block.
that's family.
The
my
music
kin.
that's playing though is like Casio country music coming out of their car. Or the truck. It's so good.
hey, let's go ride around the neighborhood and stand in the back of the truck and look tough.
It
You know
looks
what?
like those guys had done that before. Is all I gotta say.
And I just want to add that is, I mean, there's no difference between 1986 and 2023 either, because I mean, that's very common.
Well, that was common up in a certain town that you and I have a connection to, Andy, over there at that shopping center in the 90s, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Big time. But I mean, it's again, 2020 and in the 20-aughts. Yeah.
Well, and I've been into a lot of small towns where the glares are strong. You know, that comes with the territory too.
Yeah, you would know that one.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the welcome mat isn't out for the new neighbors, suffice it to say. Prissy gets a call about Lynn. It's the mom. She's going off in her native tongue. Now the mom is doing the turkey bit.
Yeah. Said an hour in and the mom finally talked.
Yeah. Right. Prissy was supposed to go pick up Laura at the gym. She says, okay, fine, I'll be there. She hangs up. There's another quick close-up of a wall hanging that says,
Yes.
Ain't nothing going to come up today that me and the Lord can't handle. Robert, did your mom have that one hanging up?
It does feel like well, you know, at least she doesn't really get down into the southern
No.
culture like that too
That's
much.
true.
We got to set up a Medfield store on Etsy, and that could be one of
that's a
our
good
first
idea.
offerings.
That's a good idea.
I mean, we could just go buy them from Cracker Barrel and then sell them on our
Right,
sell
yeah,
ourselves.
we don't need to have an Etsy store. We don't need to make it ourselves. We just get it from Cracker Barrel.
You know, I was at a Cracker Barrel once, and there was a sign that said, they can put a man on the moon, but they can't email chocolate.
There you go. Ain't that the truth?
Wisely said.
Oh, I'll just email you this chocolate.
You know there was some old
chocolate
lady
coming in.
You know some old lady saw that and it's like, oh, and just started laughing. I'm buying this for Jim.
I would assume some of them.
He likes to email. I like to eat chocolate. It's so funny. That's relatable.
I mean, it's true. Why can't they? I want a chocolate right now.
It's so
Somebody can
true.
email it to me. I know they got it.
They never put a man on the moon. That was faked.
Well, Prissy gets her emailed chocolate and heads over to the Cambodian crib. And Lynn is acing a math quiz, 9 out of 10, but is somehow distraught. Laura is doing cheerleader tryouts meanwhile, but Prissy, nowhere to be found. Man, I miss this size of pom-pom, guys. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened to the size
Those
of
were the good old
pom-poms?
days, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
The shorts got longer and the pom-poms got smaller.
That's true. Prissy is about to knock some kid out in the parking lot, speeding up to the tryouts, but she ain't going to make it in time. She gets to an empty gym. Burning the candle at both ends, Priss.
You're blowing it, Prissy. You're blowing
And the
it.
janitor of shame there.
Yep.
That's right. There's always a janitor.
Shame.
You missed it, lady.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. You missed it.
Show's over.
That's right. That's me. You're blowing it, Prissy. Just like this sweeping the floor.
It should be like, one of those characters, like a know-all character. It's like, I think you're going a little too hard now, Prissy.
Miss Prisoner.
Yeah. She gets back to the house and Laura is losing it. You've never there for me anymore. What about me? Oh man, she the thing that cracks me up is she's so in a fit, then she courteously gently closes the door.
Yes.
And
adieu.
yeah, we cut to George and Prissy driving in the night. He says this has to be the worst trip I took in my life. So wait, what? Did he come? Are there two Georges or did he take 2 trips? What's going on?
2 trips, yeah.
I guess he took 2 trips. I was hoping there was another George that made that weird deal for the house. Anyway, George is doing George, naysaying everything Prissy says again. Prissy's up to her ears with problems. I mean, listen, George, maybe don't come up with the explanations right after you're getting home from the business trip, bud. But they get home, see Laura. Laura's sitting in the dark, says, "Don't you understand, Dad? You always win," which really cracks me up. Noted perpetual winner, George.
I am a winner. It is true.
I win every time we play a board game. I win every time I go on a business trip, and I'm always winning. But lightning starts to strike outside as the family begins to reconcile. I think it's going to be okay, guys, but outside, it's a little stormy. Stay tuned for Act 3.
All the world over so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free. Listen, please listen, that's the way it should be. Peace in the valley, people got to be free.
first wife, I was always right. I'll tell my second wife that.
I won the divorce settlement, and I won the next marriage, so I just keep on with it.
Go Vols.
Go Vols! I was an Ole Miss fan, and then I took on the Vols, and now I'm winning even more. Look at me.
He's becoming Cajun now.
Yeah. It's because of that Tabasco sauce. I've ever seen a empty bottle of Tabasco.
Oh, so the evil Foley man strikes again. This time we actually get a visual effect to go with it.
Sounds from the haunted house.
We get the haunted house lightning effect as a branch knocks out the picture window of the Cambodian house. Family struggles to cover up the window with blankets, but it's not working. So Lynn runs to call Prissy. Prissy knows everything. The phone's out though, and so she decides instead to just take off running into the night. Goes to a neighbor's house where a very grumpy-looking old white dude answers the door with a flashlight.
This, like, there's these fades to black that they have because of the commercial breaks, obviously. Yeah. And they're so jarring. Like, I mean, this felt like she got murdered or something. Like something sinister happens.
Like, dun, dun, dun. Well, in today's day and age, that's the first thing that I thought of. It's like, don't go knocking on some old dude's door, because I mean, we've seen what happens when you do that. But yeah, kind of grim cut to commercial there, but it's a fake out, thankfully, because after the commercial break, it's the next day. People are out cleaning up the damage in front of the house. Apparently the good old boys have decided to come out and chainsaw up all the tree branches. They're even fixing Lynn's roof. They are doing some structural work here. George pulls up, and they're kind of surprised at what's going on and delighted at this turn of events. And but George looks uncomfortable as a shady-looking rural type ambles on up, and he.
Hey, I've been called that many times.
I love how George kind of gets his dander up. He was like, "Hello, sir." And the guy starts talking about how I've been living in this neighborhood about 12 years. Me and my wife and my boy. Seen a lot of changes.
Riding around on a lot of backs of trucks.
I've been riding around on backs of trucks for 12 years now.
Put a lot of mileage on my truck driving around. And seen a lot of changes, some good, some bad. But me and the boys been talking about what y'all been doing up here. And George at this point is very apprehensive, but the guy says he wants to pack all the kids up in the back of his truck. Starting off not so good, but take them up to the fairground for a family picnic and some baseball to show them how things are done the American way.
You can pardon me if this guy came up to me and said he wanted to pack up the kids in the back of the truck and take them to the fairground. I wouldn't be super happy about it.
I'm so confused now. Like, yeah.
Take them out by the water wheel.
I thought it was sweet.
Get on down there by the water wheel.
They never seen a pig race how we do it here.
Nah,
So they're all in Louisiana in my brain.
get you an elephant here.
I like their food, so they must be good people.
I hear the hill driver's going to be going on up there. Anyway, George is all smiles at this point. So we cut to the field day where Lynn is getting ready for a foot race. Then, psych out, time jump. We leap ahead 3 years via some surprisingly clever editing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This was like their little brainwave of the movie right here, where we jump from Field Day 1980 to Field Day 1983. Lynn starts the race in 1980. She finishes the race in 1983. It's amazing.
It's hard to believe it's been 3 years.
Yeah, it's a long race.
It's a long race.
Next, we find ourselves at some sort of like church camp out or something where George is giving out awards for kids who've read the most books.
Book camp. I don't know.
It's like church book camp, raising money for what? For like muscular dystrophy or something? What was it?
Multiple sclerosis.
Multiple
'cause he can't
sclerosis,
say it.
which he can't pronounce.
I can't say that word.
No, come on, help me out here.
Prissy, how do you say this?
Why is that a detail? In the...
Those doctors coming up with crazy words.
What the who?
Them doctors.
Multiple Scooby-Doo, I don't know.
Multiple Scooby-Doo.
First place for reading 85 books is, of course, Lynn, and she gets a dictionary for her efforts.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, here's a dictionary. The girls head off to the bathhouse in a weird detail. Leave enough water for the boys. While George and Prissy have a conversation about Lynn. Prissy says the kid has such a drive. She's never seen anything like it.
What has Prissy seen?
Yeah, I've seen things. Get a weird beat where George pours some wine and starts playing some music.
Yeah.
Says they're going to dance, which they do in the middle of the camp out.
I just keep winning.
It was like a
This
Sam
was how
Cooke
I
song
win.
too, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Sam Cooke singing it. It was somebody else singing it.
I don't buy the brand music. I buy the off-brand, but I keep winning nonetheless.
They had a problem with their first record label, so they re-recorded it for the second record label. It doesn't sound as good, but I support the artist.
I find the covers work just as well in the winning. Later, George is driving up to their house with the latest newspaper, which has a story about Lynn. Turns out she's qualified for the county spelling bee. In an abrupt turn of events, Prissy says the TV station wants to interview them too. So we cut to Lynn practicing for the spelling bee. Everybody's excited, but Lynn's got the yips. She is like up in her head, and it's not going well. She's missing words that she knows left and right. Prissy and the teacher aren't sure what's up, but later that night, Lynn crashes on Prissy's couch and is having a nightmare. She says she was in the woods with snakes and ghosts, and people were dying a lot, and she was running, and so on and so forth. And Prissy says, you're safe. You have to stop putting so much pressure on yourself to win. Says, Lynn, just do the best you can. And, I know one weird detail throughout the movie is that George sleeps without a shirt on. You notice that, every time, because there are several scenes where they're awakened by something in the night, and every time he doesn't have a shirt on, and he comes out in like this little robe. Oh, let me slip on my robe so I don't startle the children. Anyway, Prissy and George go back into their room. George says that it must be back in Cambodia, the week and the failures were taken out and shot. And that's what's giving Lynn her drive. George says the worlds are heading towards each other. And Lynn sees this as another test she has to win to survive. And she's afraid she's going to lose. It's a grim take. After a word from our sponsors, Lynn is getting dolled up for the spelling bee, and she's practicing more. And at the bee, Prissy's nervous, but says Lynn is going to do fine. The mom says nothing, of course. The spelling bee begins, and the host gives like a weirdly jingoistic introduction. What is with this? Only in America can children spell.
Right.
And it is a blessing for all of us.
Unfortunately, that's probably how it really is.
Yeah, no doubt. All the kids get introduced, and everyone says the Pledge of Allegiance, which was kind of weird, creepy, but as you say, probably how it happens. We get a montage. I love this montage of like very Southern kids spelling words with Lynn sprinkled in here and there.
I read it as very Canadian kids doing Southern accents.
Yes.
Spelling words as well.
Yes. Very true. So many of these kids like reminded me of, I don't know. It's like that kid in Christmas Story who's like, I like the Tin Man. I like the Wizard of Oz. It's just that kind of like odd child. So yeah, it's these people doing fake Southern accents, but Lynn's doing great. Lynn rises through the ranks while local media people nudge each other and look impressed. Robble, 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 robble. She's spelling. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but does she know how to use the bathroom?
I wonder if she's ever been inside. Finally, it comes down to Lynn and some other girl in a sudden death showdown. And Lynn wins, of course, and the crowd goes wild. And we even get a meaningful glance and a single tear from Mom. She's doing the Indian with the polluting people tear look.
I was waiting for her to spell the word freedom literally. I was like, all
I
right.
know, that's what I said.
Yeah, it was,
Come on.
Like the other kid comes up and spells it Freedumb, and
Yeah.
it's like no,
Exactly.
and then Lynn takes it. Yeah,
freedom.
freedom.
FRAA.
I like the moment during the spelling bee when I can't remember what the word is, but the teacher's like got her little scratch pad of paper and she like writes the word for some reason. And then she spells it wrong. The teacher spells it wrong, but then Lynn goes through it and gets it right. But the teacher thinks Lynn is wrong and like shakes her head like, oh no. And they're like, it's correct. She's like, oh, I made a mistake. It was a weird silent subplot
Weird.
of the teacher misspelling the word. But even adults, they don't know things. It's true. So yeah, victory. And now we get a montage. We get a mega cut of news coverage about Lynn. We see scenes from earlier in the movie of her progression from Cambodia to the U.S. We hear that Jolly Ronnie Reagan even called her on the phone. See Lynn hanging out with her American pals. She's all westernized now. She's got American friends. They're waiting for the school bus. They get on the school bus. Get a voiceover from Lynn about how she had been a slave and now she is free and how glad she is she's in America. And we fade to a little pause, a little TV movie ending there. But just as we think we're done, no, my friends, no.
Oh no.
We cut to Chattanooga, live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Trapper John is hanging out on the real. The Thrash family is the name of this family we've been spending all this time with. They are the Thrashers, the Thrash family. And Trapper John's hanging out on their screen porch in Chattanooga. He's in the real house where it all happened. The fourth wall is gone, and we are in documentary mode. He's there with the real Yan family, all of them, and the real Lynn herself. And it's so exciting to see him. And he says, we just saw the picture, which I thought was a funny, like the old person way of saying
The picture show.
We just watched the picture,
show.
the old movie-ola picture. Asked them what they think. Lynn says it was hard to relive. I would imagine so, but also great. We find out that her sister Ying is the only member of the family who kind of featured in the movie. She had a few bits where she did stuff. Now though, she is known as Martha, which I found amusing. Nothing against Marthas, but I just imagine the process of picking your name and coming up with Martha.
Was it a little jarring for you guys just to hear their accents? You're like, here's these young Cambodian women with these thick Southern accents.
I thought
Yeah.
that was
Jarring,
so hilarious to me that they had both Cambodian and Southern accents.
Yeah.
And because, that was so funny to me that they had picked up the accent, the Tennessee accent. It was great. Anyway, turns out Lynn had fun on the set. She was an extra in the movie. We also get to meet the real George, Prissy, and Laura, who are exactly as you would imagine them to be.
Yes.
About Laura rocking the Tau Kappa Epsilon shirt.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice for this interview.
My daughter, she is quite popular in the Greek system.
Those guys had a reputation at my school in college, and it it wasn't a good kind of reputation. It was a double secret probation kind of reputation, and not the funny hijinks kind either. But
Laura lives on the wild side.
nevertheless,
Laura says that the kids' favorite TV show back when they came over was The Three Stooges, and they talk about how much they like The Three Stooges. We get footage of a cookout in the Thrash backyard. Most excited me for the vintage Sweetheart brand yellow and orange cups they had on hand.
Oh, yeah.
Always love to see those pop up somewhere. Lynn talks about visiting the White House and listening to rock music. She's just an average teen now. And again, as we were saying, that Southern accent on top of the Cambodian is just too funny. But Trapper John gives us a final inspirational message about America and things and bids us good night. And with that, we reach the end of our tale.
All right, boys. This is it. Over the hill. We don't care what flag you wave. We don't even want to know your name. We don't care where you're from or where you're going. All we know is that you came. You're making all our decisions. We have just one request of you. That while you're thinking things over, here's something you just better do. To free the people now. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now. Free the people now. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now.
So, two things. With Wayne Rogers, like we've already mentioned his resemblance to Will Ferrell. I think they need to remake this movie with Will Ferrell as the lead.
Yes.
But be just as serious.
One,
serious role.
2, 3.
That'd be entertaining. And second, I think we may be. This might be a first. I think we're the only podcast to ever cover this movie.
I'm sure we are. I
Probably
might have
so.
I'll dig into it, but I bet we're the first to hit this movie.
And if Lynn finds it somehow and listens to it, I apologize. I'm so sorry, Lynn. You're the best.
Congratulations for winning.
I found I found an article from 2013 of whatever happened to Lin Ying and Yan, sorry, and she apparently, as of 2013, was married and had a family and lived in South Carolina. Was a pharmaceutical rep. She had been in media, like TV media, for a while, but then decided she wanted to get out of that and started pill pushing, I guess. So
well, there you go.
Sounds like she's doing really well for herself. Sounds like the whole family wound up doing really well for themselves. So good for them.
Really a tribute to George. He
I
is
think
a winner.
Well, the winning rubbed off on all of them. I
Yeah.
think we can say it's all due to George.
I felt like the movie was missing an antagonist was my biggest complaint, and still in Jeff, it felt like it needed like some sort of spelling bee subculture at the school where there's all these cliques of spellers.
Like Mean Girls, but
And
spelling
like there's
bee
like
Mean
this
Girls.
like one rogue English teacher that was teaching them to spell, and being mean about it. And
There's
I
like a
guess
huge tradition of spelling success at the school.
yeah, and like,
like-
everyone like waits and is excited about this spelling bee. And
Yeah.
It's like Goodwill Hunting with spelling bees, and
On the Fields Medal of Spelling
Jeff and I
Bees.
immediately veered into Karate Kid land was kind of where we were going.
Well, yeah, it's natural.
the All Valley spelling bee.
Yeah.
The All Valley spelling
I
bee
need a
with
John
Kreese as the
Kreese
English-
character, yeah.
as the
But
English
it's
That's not
said.
how we spell that word.
Yeah, instead, Prissy is the antagonist, I think,
Yeah,
for the first
definitely.
half.
Yeah.
Then just, small town America prejudiced is the other antagonist.
Yeah, it starts out, she is definitely the heavy at the first, which, again, considering we find out that they were kind of involved at the end, surprised me that they really went into, like, but maybe they didn't think that was bad at the time. Maybe they were just like, this is a perfectly normal reaction to just be, like, bitter. But
oh, man.
So, yeah.
That was interesting. That was a different kind of movie, for sure. Does that beat out Freaky Friday for you, Andy?
Not quite. I mean, Freaky Friday, that's going to take a lot to knock that one down.
This was one Freaky Friday around the Thrash House, let me tell you.
Anybody else have anything to say about that one? It's left us kind of mute.
Well, we got through it, and
we did get through it.
That was we found our voice with George. So.
Good old George Thrash.
Yes, old George. Well, I'm gonna leave it behind. It's time to close the book on this one, but it's not time to close the book on our summer schedule. Our summer schedule consists of 2 episodes, as we previously mentioned. If this movie was a bit of a surprise to you, I think the next one will be a little bit more in our wheelhouse. Robert, what's coming up next?
I don't really recall who pitched this one, but and we said earlier that the debate was heated and it took a long time, but really it actually took us about maybe 15 seconds to 30 seconds to figure out which 2 movies we're going to do. It was Michael just says, hey, about this one, it's got the girl in the toilet, and we all went, what? Oh yeah, definitely. And then the next one was this movie, and it'll make a little more sense to our longtime listeners why we picked this one. And it puts us back into the world of one of our all-time favorite actors here on the Society. And it's the movie I haven't seen, but it's a movie that I certainly want to see just from the title alone. And that film is Moochie of the Little League, starring our favorite child actor, Kevin Cochran.
Yeah, and even if it's not literally in Medfield, I'm not sure it is figuratively. It'll be a Medfield movie, so...
Yeah, it feels like it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've watched just a few clips of this, and man, it's a lot of Moochie. I mean, as it should be.
Yeah.
Wowee! It's a lot of that. So
I'm excited about that one. We'll see what it has in store. But we hope you liked our first episode of the Medfield College Film Society Sunday Night Special. You know where to find us on social media. Keep sending those emails to info@medfieldfilm.com.
And as always, Todd at Bind & Graphic Solutions is our graphic guy, and he's at it again with our new series graphics for the Sunday Night Special. I'm sure you've seen them on our social media accounts, but go check out Todd at bindandgraphics.com. You know he's going to make you look good every season.
Thanks, Todd, and thanks to you, the listener. If you're still listening, congratulations. We did it. Lynn is doing well in the pharmaceutical industry. George keeps winning. And we are going to head to the ballpark to catch up with Moochie. So we'll see you all next time with Moochie of the Little League. So long.
We of mighty Redfield, alma mater dear. All your sons and daughters hail to thee, Redfield College of Technology. And while we hold your banner high, rock, rock, we shout your praises to the sky, rock, rock. For proud are we of mighty Redfield, loyally we cheer. Redfield, Redfield, rock.